The Adventures of the Brave Little Ladybug. Once upon a time, in a vast field filled with flowers of all colors and sizes, there lived a brave and adventurous ladybug named Lila. She was always buzzing around, looking for new adventures and new creatures to meet. One bright and sunny morning, as Lila was flying above the field, she heard a faint buzzing sound coming from a nearby bush. Curious, she flew closer and saw a group of bees frantically trying to free one of their friends who had gotten stuck in a spider's web. Without a second thought, Lila flew over to the trapped bee and began to carefully untangle the spider's web, freeing the bee. The bees were grateful for Lila's help and invited her to share some of their delicious honeycomb. Feeling happy and full, Lila continued on her adventure. As she was exploring the field, she stumbled upon a group of ants in distress. They were trying to carry a large piece of food back to their colony, but they were struggling to move it across a large patch of thorny bushes. Lila immediately offered to help. She used her strong wings to lift the food and carried it across the thorny bushes, all the way back to the ants' colony. The ants were so grateful for Lila's help that they invited her to stay for lunch. They served her some delicious food and even sang her a song to thank her for her bravery. Feeling happy and content, Lila continued on her adventure. She came across a group of snails who were stuck in a sticky mud puddle. They were struggling to move and were afraid they would be stuck forever. Lila knew she had to help them. She flew over to the snails and used her strong legs to carefully pull them out of the mud. The snails were so grateful that they gave Lila a special necklace made of shiny shells as a thank you gift. As Lila continued on her adventure, she encountered many other animals in need of her help. She rescued a butterfly from a spider's web, saved a caterpillar from getting eaten by a bird, and even helped a family of mice find their way back home. As the sun began to set, Lila flew back to her home in the field of flowers. She settled down for the night, feeling grateful for all the wonderful experiences she had had and all the new friends she had made. The next day, Lila decided to explore the forest on the edge of the field. As she flew deeper into the forest, she noticed that the trees were getting denser and the ground was getting muddier. Suddenly, she heard a loud cry for help. She flew towards the sound and found a baby bird trapped in a thorny bush. The bird's mother was frantically flying around, trying to free her baby, but the thorns were too sharp. Lila quickly flew over to the bush and began to carefully untangle the thorns. With her nimble legs and wings, she freed the baby bird. The mother bird was overjoyed and thanked Lila with a sweet chirp. Feeling proud of her heroic act, Lila continued on her adventure. She explored a small pond in the forest and met a family of ducks. The ducks were struggling to find food for their young ones, so Lila offered to help. She flew over to a nearby berry bush and gathered a bunch of berries in her legs. She then flew back to the pond and dropped the berries into the water. The ducks were thrilled with the new food and thanked Lila by letting her swim with them in the pond. As the day came to an end, Lila decided to rest on a branch of a tall tree. She looked out over the vast forest and smiled. She realized that there was still so much to explore and so many animals to help. Lila knew that she would continue to have many more adventures in the future. As the sun began to set, Lila flew back to her home in the field of flowers. She settled down for the night, feeling grateful for all the wonderful experiences she had had and all the new friends she had made. The next day, Lila woke up to a cloudy and dark sky. She noticed that the flowers in the field were drooping, and the air was filled with the sound of thunder. Lila knew that a storm was coming, and she had to find shelter. She flew around the field, looking for a safe place to stay, but all the flowers were too small or too fragile to withstand the strong winds and heavy rain. Just as Lila was starting to feel worried, she noticed a large and sturdy tree in the distance. Without hesitation, she flew towards it, hoping to find a safe place to wait out the storm. As she approached the tree, she noticed that a family of squirrels had also taken shelter there. They were huddled together, trying to stay dry and warm. Lila landed on a branch next to them and introduced herself. The squirrels were happy to have some company, and they invited Lila to share their acorn stash. As the storm raged on, Lila and the squirrels told each other stories and sang songs to pass the time. They also shared their fears and worries, and Lila learned that even the bravest animals have moments of doubt and fear. Finally, after several hours, the storm passed. The sun came out, and the flowers in the field perked up, grateful for the much-needed rain. Lila said goodbye to her new friends and flew back to her home in the field of flowers. She realized that being brave and adventurous was not just about helping others but also about facing challenges and overcoming fears. From that day on, Lila continued to explore the field and the forest, always ready to lend a helping hand and to face whatever challenges came her way. And she did so with a smile on her face, knowing that she was making a difference in the lives of those around her.